David Benavidez versus David Morrell really has potential to be fight of the year. For both of them, this is their second fight at light heavyweight. David Benavidez has the WBC interim light heavyweight title, while Morrell has a WBA light heavyweight title. Benavidez is really a pound-for-pound fighter, alright? Of course, we wanted to see him fight Canelo, but he decided to bump up. The fact that he was staying at 168 for so long, despite his size, was remarkable to begin with. I think him at light heavyweight could be a very comfortable, weight division for him. His first fight against Zazdik, of course, back in June of 24, didn't look the best there, but he still got the win, still outpointed an old Zazdik, but that was for the WBC interim title, of course. That was his first fight there. Nothing wrong with that, alrighty? Your first fight at a new division, you don't have to look the best. It's okay if you don't look the best. Same goes with Crawford too, right? When he fought Israel Madrimov at 154. It didn't look the best, but it's how you look in this second fight. So this is going to be a very important fight for David Benavidez. And then you could even say the same for David Morrell, right? I mean, he had his first fight back in August of 24. And that was a tough fight for him. Didn't look the best. Probably his toughest fight of his career. But it's going to be about what he could show in his second fight. Now, his second fight in a new division for both of them, well, going to be very tough. The toughest fights of their career. David Morrell, no pushover. Only has 11 career fights. Alrighty? Had an extensive amateur career from Cuba, of course. 11 wins, but 9 knockouts, right? Very powerful fighter. David Benavidez, another powerful fighter, but Benavidez is more of a guy that will break you down. A guy who has good combinations despite his size. A guy who's going to, might be slow at first, might lose some rounds at first, but then he's going to start putting the pressure on and breaking you down. Whether he stops you or not, those rounds 8 to 12 is really what, is going to have Benavidez pull away with the fight. Now, of course, that's if Benavidez was to win. This is a 50-50 fight, and that's why I'm saying it has the fight of the year potential. This is a very underrated fight. The big conversation on boxing over the past year was Turki Al-Sheikh in Saudi Arabia, putting on those big fights that they're starting to overshadow all the other cards, right? PBC, be an example. PBC probably the only big promotion company that's not, in a chokehold by Turkey, right? They're putting on solid cards, despite not getting that funding from Saudi and Turkey. But they're still putting on solid cards, but it's not talked about as much anymore because over the past year, it's just been overshadowed. All these big fights in PBC and other, promotion companies that aren't funded by Saudi. Good fights that have just been overshadowed by the big super fights in Saudi Arabia. This fight has potential to be fight of the year. It might not be the biggest fight of the year. Of course, you have Benavidez and Bivol coming up. You have Canelo versus Crawford at the end of the year, but Canelo versus Crawford, of course, it's not a big actual boxing match, right? I mean, it's good business-wise, good viewership, but we all know Canelo's going to destroy him. David Morrell and David Benavidez, two young guys, right? Canelo and Crawford, they're at the end of their career. Bivol and Benavidez at the end of their careers. Morrell and Benavidez, however, they're young. They're in their primes. I mean, this is a very, very good fight. Who's going to win? I don't know. But, my gut's telling me, my mind's telling me that Benavidez is going to find a way to win. I just think that Benavidez is the better fighter. Of course, he's the more experienced fighter. Already 29 wins. Already was a multiple-time champion at super middleweight. Okay. I mean, he has a good resume to himself as well. Caleb Plant, David Lemieux, Demetrius Andrade, Anthony Durrell, right? Ronald Gavril. I mean, he has a good resume compared to Morrell. Morrell's a good fighter, but his resume lacks. Of course, that's just him starting later on in his career, not having that many fights yet. But, Benavidez has experience. He fought the better fighters. He fought all different types of fighters, strong guys, boxers. He fought them all. Has defense, has good combos, has good power. I mean, he's a complete fighter for his size. He's like a fat guy, but 6'2" fat guy, but can make 168, could make 175. I think Benavidez could be anybody. He could beat anybody from 168 to 200. I'm not saying that he's a guaranteed win against Bivol or Beterbiev or, of course, Zerto or Jay Apataya. I'm not saying that he's guaranteed to beat them, but I think he has the abilities if he trained hard. All right, got experience at those divisions. He has the abilities when it comes to, like I mentioned, the power, the combinations, the defense to beat them. If Benavidez fought Beterbiev 10 times, I think he could beat him 3 or 4 times, right? That's what I'm trying to say. He has the abilities to beat those guys, but not saying they're guaranteed wins. What I'm trying to say with Benavidez is he can go all the way up to cruiserweight and win titles, all right? That's why I'm favoring Benavidez in this fight. My gut's telling him Benavidez, alrighty? And Benavidez is a good fighter, young. David Morrell, good fighter. Who wins? I won't be disappointed with who wins, right? It's a good fight, very, very good fight for boxing. It needs more attention. Hopefully you guys all tune in. Let me know down below in the comments, who do you have winning? I got David Benavidez, but it's going to be a very close fight. If Morrell pulls it off, I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised, right? Very good fight for boxing. Fight of the year potential. Let me know down in the comments who you have winning. I'm out, guys. Peace.